How's it going, everybody? This is the RANDMAN, and this is the very first edition of RANDMAN'S Bangin' Food and Dinner Meals. I just wanted to let everybody know, and I've been asked to make these videos because I make bangin' food. I'm not talking about your average everyday, that's good. I'm talking about restaurant quality, and a lot of times even better than restaurant, simply because it tastes better. So my thing is, I want to show you who's at home. I'm a guy that doesn't have fancy equipment. I don't have a fancy apartment. I'm not in a fancy kitchen. The key is using fresh ingredients, following recipes, and a few techniques that you pick up as you go along. Today, since the weather here in Florida is down, tonight it was in the 30s, I decided to make a chili. So come along, I'm going to show you all how to make a bangin' chili, and with fresh ingredients. Alright, cut it. Alright, welcome back, everybody. Here we go. This is the fun part. Now, I want to show everyone here what I've done. The biggest thing for me is following ingredients, especially if it's something that you've never made before. The important thing is that you have a base to follow, and for times and temperatures and things like that. So I have all the ingredients that are going to go in my bangin' chili already done. There's brown sugar, there's garlic. Some of the special things that make this chili nice is the beef broth. This is a 1 12-ounce beer, a cup of hot coffee. We've got brown sugar, cocoa powder, not your usual things. And if you take a look over here, there's also some peppers, which are chili peppers. Chili is not chili unless you have chilies in it. So I've got the pan going at the medium temperature, and what I'm going to do first is I'm just going to brown off this ground beef and the onions all together with the garlic. Now, one of the other things that makes this chili special, as you can see, is not only is there ground beef, which I used 85/15, but there's also about a pound of sirloin, which I've diced up small. So we want to get that browned off, and the key is to get it browned. And the other thing that makes it very important is that I've got everything out. So I know all of the ingredients I'm going to need. It makes it very, very easy. So simply, this is a tablespoon. I just put 2 tablespoons of the oil into the pan, which is at medium heat. I'm going to move that around a little bit. And we want to get the beef in there and get that all pushed down correctly and get that starting to go. Again, the key is to get it browned. And Lee, come and take a zoom in on this here and see if you can get the idea here. We want to mix it up together and get it browned. It also calls for the onions to go in it this time, so everything cooks at the same time. So I'm going to get the onion, make sure that I mix everything in together. I'm also going to add the garlic at this point. This is just 3 cloves of garlic, which I've minced up finely. We want to get it all because garlic is so good. And we just want to mix this. And this is going to go like this. I'm going to continue to stir for 10 minutes, or most importantly, until the beef is browned and the onions are tender. We'll be back right after this. Alright, we're back again, and it's been about 10 minutes, so the beef has browned a little bit, but I'm just coming in from a break. So the first thing you always want to do whenever you step away from the kitchen or touch something else is wash your hands. And I can't stress that enough. More people have food bacteria floating around in their sinks and kitchens than they even realize they have. So if you always wash your hands, then you never have to worry about them being dirty. So let's come on over and take a look at how this doing. Lee, could you zoom in on this? Now, as you can see, that the beef is completely browned. There's a little juice. I used a rarely lean meat with the 85%, so I'm not going to strain that out because I want some flavor. But now is time to start adding the ingredients. This is 1 can of Hunt's fire roasted diced tomatoes that I am putting in. This is 2 cups of beef broth. It's a can of beef broth. I also bought it in the can. This is a special ingredient. This is one 12-ounce Budweiser. And that goes in. There's just something about that that creates a great flavor. And of course, another ingredient is the strong brewed coffee. That's 1 cup of strong brewed coffee. So one of the things I'm real big on is keeping my area clean. So let's move that stuff out of the way there for you. Let's start to get some of this mixed in, and we're going to get the rest of the ingredients going. Now, this calls for 2 cans of tomato paste, and these are 6-ounce cans. I just got the ones that I found that were on the shelves. And you know, don't be afraid to use your fingers. These things here, these phalanges, are the best tool that you're going to have in the kitchen. And as long as you wash your hands and keep everything clean, it's perfectly fine to do. So let's go ahead and get this rest of this can in there. And this is pretty much, as you can see, the majority of the labor that goes into it. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. And now the rest of the dry ingredients. I do want to go ahead, come in and zoom in, and let's show. You just want to give it a good stir so that everything combines. What I'm going to do from here is bring it to a boil so that everything combines perfectly, and then it'll go down to a simmer. So this here is brown sugar. That is 1/2 cup of packed brown sugar. We've got a teaspoon of oregano. Cocoa powder, 1 tablespoon of cocoa powder. It's not a normal ingredient, but it really makes a difference in the flavor. What I'm doing here is building depth of flavor. And it's so easy. Why? I don't know, but I just took the ingredients it said on the recipe. I put it in a little cup on the side, and voila. This is cumin. I'm putting the cumin in. I've got chili powder. This is 3½ tablespoons of chili powder. And it's nothing fancy, it's nothing expensive. Came in a jar that I got at the supermarket that said chili powder. So what do I know? I'm going to put salt in. This is 1 teaspoon of salt. And it calls for 1 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. Now you can go more or less on this depending on how hot you want it. If you wanted it hotter, of course you could certainly go with more. I like it hotter. I think mine's over a little bit. But get a good look. We just want to mix all of that in. And you're starting to see from that tomato paste, from the chili powder, you're starting to get that good dark chili flavor. Strangely enough, it doesn't call for putting pepper in it. But everything needs salt and pepper. That's the #1 mistake that most home cooks make, is not seasoning their food enough. Everything needs salt, everything needs pepper. Not a lot, but it really brings out the flavor in the food. So I'm going to give this, I don't know, 8-10 rounds, just to have some pepper in there. Mix everything around. And the last ingredients for now are 2 cans of red kidney beans in their sauce. You can use any brand. I tend to go with what's least expensive, but that's just me. You know, like I said, this is not something for somebody that's rich and has all the fancy equipment. This is showing you how that a regular old Joe, a guy like me, a hippie in his kitchen on a Sunday afternoon with the football games on and the cold weather coming, can make something banging. So here we go. This is about 4 jalapeno chilies that I've diced up raw, roughly. I took most of the seeds and stems out. That's where the heat is. If you like it spicier, leave the seeds and stems in. I've got some people that are going to eat this chili that don't like it so hot, but regardless, this is going to bring banging flavor. So we'll get all of that in. And as you can see here, I've left a little bit because I want to dice some up to be able to put on the top of each bowl when I serve it. So take a look here. We've got all of the ingredients in. And that's basically it. The next step is to bring this, I'm going to crank the heat up from medium high to medium high, from medium to medium high, might I say. High. And That's going to bring this to a boil. As soon as it does, I'm going to reduce the heat to where it's just barely bubbling, which is a simmer, and that goes for 90 minutes. After that, the last thing is to put in 2 cans of beans, 30 minutes more at the gentle simmer, and voila, you've got bangin' chili. So for everyone that took the time to watch the video today, I just want to say thank you. It's been a long time coming for me, but I just want you to know that if you use fresh ingredients, that if you follow a recipe, keep things clean, and, put love and enjoy what you're doing, not only are you going to have a lot of fun and it can be a great experience, but the food will be banging. Until next time, this is the RANDMAN. Keep cooking. All right, everybody, welcome back. The chili's done. First thing we do when we come into the kitchen is wash our hands. We want everything to be clean. And the chili has gone for the past 90 minutes, actually 2 hours. At the 90-minute point, I put in the second set of canned beans, which was 2 cans. And I let that simmer for an additional 30 minutes. So it's been 2 hours. And one of the things that I've found here is I've tasted it as I've gone along and while I was stirring. And I can tell you, this chili is banging. But there's something else you need to know is not only do you eat with your eyes, or your mouth rather, but you also eat with your eyes. So if you look over here, you can see that I've got a board set up. Not only do I like the chili, but I like it to have some cheddar cheese and with a cracker and some sour cream. So let's get in and take a look at this. If you can see that it's got a very deep red, luxurious color. It's steaming hot. It's gotten cold outside, so I'm real excited about this. So I'm just gonna ladle a few nice heaping ladles into the bowl. Me personally, I like to put a little bit of shredded cheddar, because let's face it, what's chili without cheese? These are some scallions, just for show, and a little bit of the diced chili peppers. And personally, one thing I always like is a little bit of, just a dollop of sour cream on top. Now, I want to let you know how this tastes, because that's the most important thing, is how does the food taste. All this means nothing if the food is not banging. So, the first thing I notice is that it's very thick and luxurious. You can see the fresh vegetables, you can see the cheese is starting to melt in there. So let's see how it came. Well, the first thing that I've noticed is that I get big chunky pieces of that beef in there, and that's why using that sirloin was so important. But the first thing that hits is you get the spiciness that comes from the cayenne and from the jalapeno, but at the same time, the sweetness from the brown sugar. There's something that the beer does that makes it a little bit lighter, but certainly a little bit of heat on the back end as well makes it wonderful. So let me tell you, this chili is banging. Don't forget to set it up, make a little board. You always eat with your eyes as well as your stomach. Remember, season your food. And until the next time, you keep cooking.